welcome back to So This is Thailand. Coming up on Expert Advice, we're welcoming back Dr. Charles Windisch, the Associate Dean for International Affairs at Mahidol University International College, because we touched upon a question last time, if you recall, looking at the AEC. And I think, well, there's some big questions there. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming back.
Okay. The question, are we ready, or are Thai students ready, or are Thai universities ready, or are expatriate children ready, is a topic that I use in one of the classes I teach, and the students have to prepare speeches. And I saw from their perspective that they're very worried that they're not ready, because the students we're admitting now will graduate in 2015, and they are going to be under new rules for mobility, work mobility, study mobility, and they're concerned that whether or not they'll be competitive with kids from other universities in ASEAN. Yeah. And at our university, at Mahidol University, they're taking the readiness very seriously at all levels. And in the strategic planning, one of the goals is to be ready. And when you say, how can you be ready? One of the things, of course, is language. And we have strong language programs. But we also are looking at sending students out. And you asked me to mention some of the programs that are available for students to go abroad, or how we receive students within the ASEAN community. And the first is, ASEAN itself has set up something called AUN, the ASEAN University Network. And they've identified very competitive schools in each of the ASEAN countries. And they range from the National University of Singapore, which is one of the highest ranked universities in Asia, to Mahidol University or Chulalongkorn University, and universities in Malaysia, University Malaya, and now with the opening of Burma, or Myanmar, we're seeing the University of Yangon and I think it's the medical college. And in that, there are scholarship opportunities through AUN.
Do you mind if I jump in there for a second and just ask, like, in the general picture, where do the Thai universities fare in this ASEAN University Network?
I think that we're upper range. So if you look at the 10 countries or 11 countries in ASEAN, I think that we're in the top third for sure. Okay, Singapore is a little bit unique in terms of the investment they've made in education in the last 50 years. But the others would be Malaysia, the Philippines, and Thailand. And then we have countries where there's very, very little infrastructure and development in the universities. So I think that we can take what they call the elder brother or elder sister role in helping to develop the universities in the ASEAN community.
You mentioned in the beginning, you have a group of students who you're admitting now who will be finishing right when the AC opens up. Those students obviously will have a big challenge ahead of them, especially when having, as we mentioned before, having to compete against our neighbors who, just based on their national language, are going to be stronger in things like English. For those students who aren't going to graduate right then, though, is there anything they should be doing to prepare themselves now?
If they're in high school, I have a bias because I'm an English teacher, but they need to be learning English, because English is becoming the language of ASEAN. The meetings are held in English, the administration is English, I was talking about the scholarships, all the scholarship information, it's all in English. And in order to go easily to one of these other countries, at first they'll have to have English. Now, if they go to one of the universities in Malaysia or in Indonesia, of course we want them to study the languages of the culture there. But in order to get there, it's very difficult for students to acquire adequate Indonesian to go and study at the university level in Indonesia, unless one of their parents is Indonesian and they've been back and forth. So I think that we're going to find that the key to mobility within the region is going to be English. So if they're worried about this, then they should be worried about English. So when their English teachers are in class are telling them this is important, it's important.
And obviously a lot of opportunities are going to open up in terms of scholarships and exchange programs. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Okay. Some of the universities are funding activities. Our students were invited to participate in programs at the National University of Singapore this year. Then, as I was saying, there's something called MIT, which is now AIMS. It was originally Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, but it's expanded to include Vietnam, so they got rid of the MIT. And those allow for exchange in and out. It matches. So one student comes in from, let's say, Malaysia, and then one goes out. And right now at our school, we're sending out 10 and receiving 10. With the inclusion of Vietnam, we expect that we'll be receiving 15 and sending out 15. Then AUN itself has scholarships, and they're open. The numbers are open. It depends on the host institution. And at Mahidol University, we overlap with the university. Our college may not send out students. The university may send out students from the Faculty of Medicine or something, but we now are receiving students from the Philippines, Indonesia, and Singapore. And we expect to receive students from Burma, Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos in the next 1 or 2 years in the same program. The MIT AIMS scholarships are very, very good. They pay tuition, transportation, housing, and expenses. The university scholarships generally are more just tuition waivers, and the students go and then they don't have to pay tuition while they're there.
Last time you were in the studio, you mentioned that a lot of these programs, they're not just for Thai nationals, they're actually open to the exchange students or the foreign students as well. Is it also true with this, the AUM and
the AUN, I think, is. I'm not sure that the MIT, okay? Generally, when we've had international students from expat families, they want to go to Europe or back home or to the United States. And I don't know that we've ever had one go, but I'm not sure. That would be something I would have to check on for the next show.
I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming up after as well.
Yeah.
Well, looking at, there's so much going on in the AC. Beyond English skills, which obviously are critical, are there any other skills that you see that Thais really need to kind of up their ante on to really compete with not just the Malaysia or Vietnam, but like Japan or Korea?
Well, fortunately, Japan and Korea are not in ASEAN, and they're not going to have to compete with them in the same way as they're going to have to do it in ASEAN. But generally, I think it's just education, to raise their level of education, not just in language, but to have better skills that are marketable. I'm very proud of our tourism students because they go everywhere. They have internships all over the world, and they have very good skills that they can take, and they also take the Thai concept of hospitality, which is very, very welcome. For the business students and the media students, again, they have to think that they're not just competing with people in Thailand now, but they're competing with people in our region, and at some point, if they want a career in New York or Washington, they have to be competitive with the world-class students, and I think that's how they have to think. Not just locally in their school or their community, but going out in concentric circles to include wider areas.
So in your university, how are you preparing for this ASEAN University Network? Or it seems that everyone's talking about this and the AEC. So,
okay. In the strategic plan, we've actually allocated funding for scholarships and activities to send students in and out, to send faculty in and out. You have to remember, Mahidol University is a research university, so we're looking at collaborative research with people within the region, and it would be easier, I imagine, to get a grant to do something now within the region from the university than something outside of the region. And then we are one of the pilot programs in business that's going to be accredited by AUN, and that we're going to see schools in different countries in ASEAN undergoing the same accreditation that we will, which gives some kind of standard or quality. And we're very, very concerned with that, both for inbound and outbound student exchange. And then we actively participate in these scholarship programs. And that, again, is allocating resources towards to education. In terms of the curriculum, there's a committee that's going to be looking at incorporating ASEAN into the curriculum. So I wouldn't be surprised in social science if we see an ASEAN class in Southeast Asian Studies, Women in ASEAN or something like that. In business, I think there'll be more focus on regional business, and there's discussion about how we can offer languages of our partner countries in ASEAN to our students. And it's a little bit problematic, and we're thinking now we may do it through exchange. The kids will go to Indonesia for 6 months, or they'll go to Malaysia for 6 months, or they'll go to Laos for 6 months.
Well, last time we had you on the show, we got a lot of questions after the show. And one of the biggest questions was, hey, you didn't tell us where to find out more information. We don't want to have to wait till the next time you're in the studio. So if they have questions about these different programs, about your program, in particular, how can they contact, or where should they look?
Okay, they can look at our website, which has updated information about studying at MUIC and the programs that we provide our students. I think that for Mahidol University, they also have programs, but you have to understand that, again, most of the undergraduate programs at Mahidol University are not international programs where the students would be able to study. And the OHEC, the Thai Ministry of Education, Higher Education, has websites with information. And we had a student come in, and she has a scholarship that I was unfamiliar with that she found by herself going to the OHEC websites.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for providing us with all this very useful information, and we hope to have you back very soon with more questions.
Okay, I'm happy again. I'm happy to share information about higher education in Thailand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stick with us on So This is Thailand. We'll be right back after the break.
I don't think there's a house in Thailand that doesn't have at least one of these styles of the traditional Thai pillows. And though they are around the entire country, a lot of them are made right here in the Yasothon province. And as you can see, there's not just the traditional shapes as well, but you have a lot of new ones to fit the new style and, well, just about anything you might need in your home. And just like the basket weaving or the wood carving, they provide a great income not only for those who make it, but for the entire community as well.
The Northeast, much like most of Thailand, is heavily dependent on agriculture. But when crops are harvested and farmers have free time, local communities come together and produce unique handicrafts that form a successful industry in the region.
One of the other highlights you can find in the area are these wooden carvings. And the tools really haven't changed since antiquity. Just using chisels and a mallet, they're able to transform a solid piece of wood into a beautiful work of art. The hard part is going from a two-dimensional drawing into a three-dimensional carving. Now, as you can see, the craftsmen around me have lots of practice and lots of skill to turn these ordinary slabs of wood into, well, something beautiful for your home or business. If you're interested in buying one of these exquisite pieces, it'll take about 7 to 10 days to complete, and the price is very competitive. I won't tell you now, you have to call and find out yourself. And the best part is the income from these carvings will help generate a good living for all those within the Tambun and also the workers themselves. Oh, hello. One thing when you come to Yasothon that you will never be is hungry. The variety of foods here and very specialty items, well, you can just eat your way through the whole place. One of those is called pla som, and it is a very special, very delicious dish. Take some local fish, add some salt, then you have, well, sticky rice, which I'm eating right now. Add in sodium nitrate. Now that's the same stuff they used to use in the rockets, which this area is also famous for. Stir it all together, let it marinate for a while, and what you get is, well, a delicious dish that can, well, complement any meal. You have to try it. Here in Yasothon town, the fish is so well made that there are over 10 factories that produce it, and at 300 kilograms per day, well, that's a lot of fish, not only for the area, but for the rest of Thailand as well. I'm sure all the Thais watching know exactly what I'm holding in my hand, but for all you foreigners out there, what this is called la chong. What that means is, well, it's talking about the process by which it is made. You can see here the sieve. It's got some holes in the bottom, and the cook behind me is ladling in this creamy mixture. It's falling through the bottom into some water and creating, well, this delicious dessert. Though you can find la chong all around Thailand, it's actually very special here in Yasothon. Well, I can't think of a more delicious way to begin my day. I hope you've enjoyed the program and all the OTOP products we've had a chance to look at. See you next time.
problems.